All right, stream seems to be on. My phone is telling me I'm on at least. And we have a preview window. Okay, perfect. Now I can put you over there. Okay, so continuing on. Unscheduled stream. I haven't really been doing too many scheduled streams over here on Twitch recently, and I figured might as well do, if I'm going to be working on a little project, might as well stream myself while I'm doing that. And I'm going to continue working on this this idea of a Twitter vacuum, sort of pulling out tweets of interesting things and just storing them away. And so we had seen the documentation, and it wasn't really working for us. But I think I know why, and I think we can make that a lot better. So I am going to. Okay, it's developer.twitter.com. I want to go to their docs, their documentation. So the first thing they're saying is we have to be logged in. We have to be authenticated. And we're going to use OAuth, but there might be a way to use OAuth in a very sort of interesting way. So where is, maybe it's guides, not overview. Okay, so authorizing requests. Okay, so web intents. I still need this because the API interface that I want to use does say I need this. Okay, so these are all going to be fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so collecting parameters. You should be able to see the header contains 7 key value pairs where the keys all begin with the string OAuth underscore for any given Twitter API request. Collecting these 7 values and creating a similar header will allow you to specify authorization for the request. How each value is generated is described below. Okay, so consumer key. So I think what I'm going to use is I'm going to use like .env. So let's go take a look at this. npm.env. I've used this library many times. Okay, that's interesting. Build passing, build failing. That's definitely an interesting one. But you can see it's used quite often. I've used it in many of my applications as well. Specifically, it's just going to be for here when I deploy it onto, I don't know, AWS or something. It'll just be the configuration files that are passed into the image. But it allows us to pass this into process.env. So we're going to require .env.config. It's just .env. So here we are in a Twitter vacuum. We have a node modules, but no package.json. So I'm going to create that as well. And in here, all we need for a bare minimum package.json is just open and close curly brackets. And now I can npm install .env. Now this is just going to be for the for development. I don't need to install it on like the actual other location. I realize that if I wanted, there, that's better. I have a chat window over the side in case anybody wants to stop by and say hi. Let's see. It's -D, I believe. Okay, no known vulnerabilities. That's nice. And let's take a look. Yeah, now it's a dev dependency. So when I do an npm install normally, it'll do this. But if I have a environment of production, it will not install this at all, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so I have .env installed. I want to create my app.js, and I want to we want to require this in. So const. In fact, I don't even know if I need a const. It's just require .env config. And what this will do is look for a .env file. So what I can do is create a .env file, and inside of here create key value pairs exactly the same way I would to create environment variables in the shell. So I could say, for example, this one. For example, it wants OAuth consumer key. So if I take this, place it in here and say equals, this is my consumer key. So the use of quotes is basically if you're going to use spaces, you need the quotes. Otherwise, you don't need the quotes unless there's some weird characters. Now I can say something like const consumer OAuth consumer key equals process.env dot and something. Oftentimes this should be uppercased. Can I just do that here? Uppercase, transform to uppercase. There we go. So OAuth consumer key, and now I can just say OAuth consumer key, and we'll also transform this to uppercase. And I should now be able to console.log this. Save it. Let's go ahead and switch over and run this. So it is node app.js. This is my consumer key. So now it's able to grab this key. Obviously, we're not going to use that one, and I'm definitely not going to console log this out once I have it in there. But what I do want to do is I'm going to put this over to the right, have my documentation on the left. There we go. Okay, so we need the OAuth consumer key. I hope that these are not real. If they're doing this real, like the real ones in here, that would be just, I would be slightly upset. Okay, so let's just put these into here. No spaces allowed. Transform to uppercase. Okay, so the nonce is actually interesting. This isn't going to go into the .env. This is just going to come into here. So const OAuth nonce is going to be equal to generate nonce. And we'll get into that in a little bit, but generate nonce is just going to be, it's a random, it's just a token. It's a random token. Any approach that produces a relatively random alphanumeric string should be okay here. So I'll just write my own for that because those are fun. Signature. Okay, so const OAuth signature equals, this is going to be generate signature. So generate signature. And we'll probably be having to pass something in there to actually make that work. Signature method. Used by Twitter is, the value should be, so there's only one method I can use. So I mean, I have feelings about this, which is like, why would you tell me to include this if there's only one way to do it? I guess they're future-proofing it, but I don't know. I just don't understand why we're increasing the complexity of what we're sending right now. Okay, timestamp. The OAuth timestamp parameter indicates when the request was created, this value should be the number of seconds since the UMX type at the point the request is generated. Okay, so this can be equals date.now. And that will just give me the number of milliseconds since 1970. Or the number of seconds, I guess. The OAuth token parameter typically uses... Okay, this is going to be the access token. And this will be another process.env. I'm going to call this what it really is, which is access token. We'll come in here, add that in. And then the version. So it should always be 1.0. Okay. I wonder if that actually needs to be a string. Like, that would be very interesting. All right, so once I have these things in here and we've started gathering these, I know there's gonna be some interesting things with like these gathering signatures. Uh-oh, hold on a second. All right. Roomba started going off in a room. That would have been annoying. Let me make sure that my green screen is still working properly. I think I see like a tiny bit of like light right up like here, which I think that's what, like right here? Oh yeah. Just move it an inch forward. That's all I have to do. Okay, so where were we? I'm not gonna like put the actual real values into here yet because I think there's some things with these like generate signature that is gonna like, I'm gonna want to console log those out to sort of like see what's going on. And I don't want to show that on the stream. Okay, so building the header string. Well, okay, so generate knots needs to be, we can do that first. For this request, 32 bytes. Is this really 32 characters? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That looks like less than half. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 32, 33, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 40. This is 42. So I could just make it whatever I want. I think base 64 encoding 32 bytes of random data. So I could probably do 32, or I could do, I wonder if I can do like 64. So we're gonna do generate knots. First, I'm going to create these functions here. Function generate knots. Function generate signature. Now, all right, I'm still far enough on top that you can that you could definitely see that. All right, so nonce is just going to return a like 64 or so 64 characters of random data. It has to be alphanumeric. So if I create an array, so if I say why didn't you auto tab it? Oh, you did auto tab in, but I went away and reset this tabbing. So if my const like source alpha num equals, so I could do this, and I could just literally say like, okay, 0, 1, and then combine with ABC, but it might actually be more fun. Let's take a look at an ASCII table. Okay, so like 48 is 0. I don't want 50. I don't want any of these characters. So starting at 60, so 48 through 57, 65 through 90, and then ignoring all of these ones. So let's make sure that this is what I sort of expected to be. Of course, I could just generate this table by looping through those numbers. That might be an interesting one. So like generate const. So it's my array of like possible choices, possible characters equals. It's going to be an array, but I can call a function to fill out, like to generate this initial array. So it will be what would I name this function? Sort of like generate, create. It's not really creating, it's just returning. So alpha numerals. So once I call this, then we're just going to assume I now have an array of alpha numerals. So once I have these alpha numerals, I want to loop through a number of times. So I'm going to say that this is going to be the num, like the target, the max, the length. So when I generate nonce, I'm going to say let's start by just telling it to be like 12. So once I have my length, I'm going to loop through that many times. So for let I equals 0, I is less than length, I plus plus, Now for each of these, I want to create a random number, like get a random index from this array. So I'm going to say const sort of random index is going to be equal to, so math.random. This will give me a number between 0 and 1. So I want to then scale this up by the actual length here. Actually no, by possible characters. So possible characters dot length. And then I want it between 0 and the length minus 1. So I'm just going to floor this. So math.floor. And do that. So this should now give me a random index for here. This is going to be an accumulator pattern, so I need an accumulatee. So it's going to be a string, so I can either build the string up or create an array of these and then sort of put it together. I don't really think it's going to affect anything. Although I hate the plus equals with strings, so I kind of just want to say my const result equals an empty array. And then once I have this, I can now result dot push, and it's going to be possible characters of random index. Okay. So then at the very end of this, we'll now just return the result dot join on everything. Now at the very end of this, I want to console log out the knots. Not generate knots. OAuth knots. Just to sort of see what we have here. It's sort of coming down into my head area. I may switch these back and forth. But anyways, let's save this file. I think, well, okay, possible characters, we're gonna get an error here because we have no alpha numerals. Let's move this over. Let's switch these. All right, I think that's better, sort of. All right, so in here, I want to node app.js. Alpha numerals is not defined. Did I? Oh yeah, I was just about to define this and I totally forgot to. All right, so let's create a function alpha numerals. And let's just, for right now, return, and it's gonna be an array of like A, B, C. Okay, so saving that, let's try this again. So we get like A, B, and C, A, B, 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 yeah. So this is perfect, exactly what we wanted. So, and we know it's inclusive because it's A, B, and C. So it got the first one and it got the last one. Perfect. So all we really need to do to generate the nonce is to actually have the possible characters, these alpha numerals, like really be here. So, I mean, the appropriate thing to do would be to create this as a library or a module, have it as a separate project, and then I can pull it in, and that way I can use it in multiple projects. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to leave it in here, and if I ever feel like I want it, I can come and pull it out and create a module, make sure it's tested, do all that stuff, upload it to NPM. Okay, so what do I want to do? Function this. So we have these tables, and we happen to know that 48 through 57 So I it's been a long time since I've done the to ASCII. Can I know that it's easy to do strings to ASCII. Well, okay, the numbers are easy, right? I can just throw create our result here. So const result equals, and it's just a numbers. And I can immediately just do a quick down and dirty for loop. So for let I equal 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus, and I just want to result dot push I. So that will give me 0 through 9. Now after that, I want to get all of these, which is 65 through 90. But maybe I can do some fun things with I bet I can do some fun things with like to uppercase or to lowercase in this case. So let's see if I can remember it to begin with. If I say, let's actually drop into Node here. Just go straight into Node and we do var char equals, it's capital A. Char dot, I think it's going to be, it's char code at. So char code at or char at. Let's try this. Char code at 65. What's char at? That's literally just A. I think there's another one, right? I can do string dot from char code. So from char code, and if I do 66, that should be an uppercase B. Yeah, okay. So from char code at. All right, I think I know what I want to do. I want to give it capital A through capital Z and have it loop through. So turn that into a number, loop through the n number, and then for each of those, turn them into letters and add them to result. But I want to add in both the uppercase and the lowercase. So while I could just do some math and add like 32, I think, is an even all the way up to here, I could just do that. But I can also do the to lowercase on it. So we want to say for so our initial index equals, and it's going to be the string. I don't actually know if I can do, will this work? Can I say a dot char code at? Yep, I certainly can. Okay, so if I say a dot char code at, so that's our beginning. I is less than, so I want to be inclusive with this one. So it's going to be less than or equal to, and this one's going to be Z dot char code at. And then it's going to be I plus plus. Okay, so This will now loop us through these. We'll get the char codes of A through Z, including A and Z. And then we want to first convert that back into a string. So we can start by just saying, okay, const my character is going to be string dot from char code, and we're going to pass it in I. Once we have this, we're going to push it into result. So we're going to say result dot push the char. But we also want to do result dot push char dot to lowercase. I don't think I've done to local lowercase before. Let's just do to lowercase. And that should now add in, so we should have everything now. So I kind of want to now, once we run this, I want to console log the possible characters. Let's save that and let's run this. Cannot read property length of undefined. Possible characters dot length. Is possible characters. So that's right here. Equals alpha numerals. It would be helpful if I returned the result. Okay, so it's got AA, BB, so it has everything in here. That's what it looks like. And it's just a good old, and now our string looks exactly like we kind of would expect it to look. So if I remove this console log here, now I can I can set this to be 64. So a very long nonce. Every time I do this, it should be able to like generate it in a different way. I may eventually want to make this a let so that I can like do this over and over again. But for the first call out, I think this will be fine. Okay, so we've generated the nonce. The next thing is to generate the signature. So we need to figure out what that actually means. Signature. Okay, so the process for calculating the OAuth signature for this request is described right here. I didn't want to go to a new page. There we go. Creating a signature. This page explains how to generate an OAuth 1.0 HMAC SHA-1 signature. Okay, so collecting the request method and URL. To produce a signature, start by determining the HTTP method and URL of the request. Okay, so HTTP method is going to be post or get. So we'll need that as well. So const method equals, I have no idea if it's going to be a get or a post, but I'm going to use get here. And then the base URL is a URL to which the request is directed, minus any query string or hash parameters. It's important to use the correct protocol here. Okay, so make sure that the HTTPS:// portion, and this is going to be just our base URL. Okay, so that gives us that. Now we're gonna be switching this to like whatever we're actually going to get, which is the searching. And we can go find that elsewhere here. So we want under tweets, filter real-time tweets. Do you give us the endpoint anywhere? Is it in, or is it an API reference? Here it is, our resource URL. Okay, so collecting our parameters. We're going to need, does it have, in the HTTP request, the parameters are URL encoded, but you should collect the raw values. In addition to the request parameters, every OAuth parameter needs to be included in the signature, so collect those too. Here are the parameters from authorizing a request. So hold on. In the HTTP request, the parameters are URL encoded, but you should collect the raw values. In addition to the request parameters, every OAuth parameter needs to be included in the signature, so collect those too. Okay, so if there's other things that I'm going to send out as well, they also need to be in the signature. That's interesting. Boy, okay. Hi, Too Scared. Welcome to the stream. A Twitter vacuum. Yeah, it's basically my way of saying that I'm gonna listen for some tweets, grab them, and then throw them into a Mongo database for later analysis. But I thought it might be a clever way to describe what it is. And also, welcome to the stream. Okay, so include entities true. I guess status equals like you're setting your status. Like this is when you're gonna create it. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm just like grabbing statuses from other people. So I shouldn't need whatever this is, but whatever else I have. Okay, so include entities is true. Like I need that. Okay. So it sounds like a vacuum controlled, but oh, okay. I could see that. Like Twitter plays Roomba. Like, I guess we could do that. Twitter vacuums somebody's house. Sure, you're true. That would be interesting if like somebody created like an office where like everybody, it's okay to know what the layout is, and then just have a top-down layout how much has been actually cleaned, and just have people tweet out directions, just like Twitch plays a Pokemon or something, and then just see whether or not everybody can clean the place. Okay, include entities, OAuth consumer key, we're gonna get that. OAuth nuts, we're gonna have that. OAuth signature method, we have that. OAuth timestamp, we have. OAuth token, we have. And OAuth version, we have. These versions need to be encoded into a single string, which will be used later on. The process to build the string is very specific. Percent encode every key and value that will be assigned. Is there a reason I use ES5 functions instead of ES6 fat arrows? Yes, actually, so my personal style with coding is that if it's just a normal function, that's sort of at the root level, I always use function of the function keyword. I feel it's a little bit more easy to read. However, if it's an inline, like a lambda function or a callback function, always, always, always I use an arrow function. So I do both. Okay, percent encoding parameters. So the following algorithm assumes you are encoding a string source by copying its values byte by byte into a string DST. So you want me to do everything into this, or wait? Percent encode every key value that will be signed. Do you have an example? Well, wait a second. This is the following string will be produced. This does not feel like they're, I mean, okay, so I see these %20s. Those are like spaces, I believe. But you're not doing anything to anything else. I figure you're possibly trying to keep the scope, but that makes sense. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, like I'm trying. I think it's more for readability purposes. I find that arrow like just replace like they're there, and I think that we can use them. I know that there's some people out there that are like just replace everything, all new, and it can work. I did try it a little bit, and it drove me crazy. All right, what was I doing here? I think I'm just like now not wanting to do. I don't understand what they mean by this. Percent encode every key and value that will be signed. But if I'm signing the entire thing, I'm creating a signature. Doesn't that mean everything is going to be signed? Like this entire string? But this doesn't. Okay, what's %20? I believe is space, and I don't forget what %21 is. Okay. I mean, I just don't understand, like, why are they telling me about these byte names if I don't actually have to worry about it? Okay, so step 1, while source contains unread bytes, read the next byte from source. Typically, this is considered a character, but in the case of encodings where a string may be more than 1 byte, just read the first byte. Thanks, Too Scared. Have a great day. Check whether the read byte matches any of the following ASCII equivalents. Like, this is what they're gonna do? If the byte is not listed above table, continue. So I find this interesting. So ladies plus gentlemen. So ladies is fine. Gentlemen is fine. The space, the plus, and the space are not. And that's sort of like what is confusing to me, is because like they're telling me, well, I guess they don't even show the percentages here. So it's write the character. Characters listed in the table above do not need to be escaped, so you'll just copy the byte directly. They're talking about ASCII characters. Okay. Okay, so any of these characters are all fine. Write the character percent to DST. The percent character or 0x25 and hex indicates the next 2 bytes will represent an encoding byte. So for all of these things that I'm creating, I'm gonna have to make sure that I percent encode them with 20 is a space, 21 is an exclamation mark. That's what it is. Right, that's an blah. Okay, so percent encode every key value that will be assigned. Sort the list of parameters alphabetically by encoded key. For each key value pair, append the encoded key to the output string, append the equal character to this output string, append the encoded value to the output string. If there are more key pairs remaining, append an @ sign. Right. So pretty standard, like this is just like URL. They're just making it for URL stuff. Like that's all they're talking about. So we need to create this. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So const encoded. Is this encoded string or just signature? So signature string. I think I should just create signature string, and we're gonna pass in some things here. This clearly is going to have to go at the bottom because we're going to have to do all of these other things first in order to like pass in the appropriate thing. But so create signature string, we're going to pass in an object here. And so what are the things that we need? All of this stuff. So first of all, like the status, whatever thing we're putting in, I don't think we have something in there. Include entities. So that's right here. So include entities. OAuth consumer key. OAuth nonce. OAuth signature method. The OAuth timestamp. And the OAuth token. And the OAuth version. Okay, so these values need to be encoded into a single string, which will be used later on. So I noticed that we're going to do, okay, so like, for example, include entities equals true, ampersand OAuth. So it's going to like be creating, like it's turning these just into a single thing with ampersand between them. So it's a standard URL parameters. That's all we're doing. But I guess this will be fun to make. Is there anything else I need to worry about here? Also, let's take a look at what we've got. So dashes. I don't remember what the key looks like. I'm actually going to create a new window and actually look at my key over here. Okay, so key and access tokens. All these things just like look like they're alphanumeric. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. There is a hyphen in one of them, but hyphens are allowed. Okay, cool. So I don't have to worry about this. The nonce is going to be alphanumeric. The OAuth signature is going to be this thing. This is alphanumeric with a dash. Date.now is number. Access token is alphanumeric with a dash, maybe. Auth version has a dot in it. Dots are allowed. Method is alpha. Base URL is, okay, so do we have to worry about this stuff? Actually, it didn't say we need the base URL in here, so we don't have to put that in. Okay, so we're gonna pass all of this into create signature string, and it's going to return with like the entire string all together. So let's do that, signature string. Now we're gonna do a nice little trick here. So in modern, like the newest JavaScript, and since we're doing this in Node, we have this ability. We can destructure straight out of here in whatever order we want to. But in reality, we can just sort of take whichever ones we need and pull them out. But we may not need to do that fully because we want to control when they're used. So I might as well just call, so we're going to pull them out at one point in time. I can pull them out in the signature and just say, okay, right here. Like I could do this. That looks terrible. So instead, I'm just going to say, it's what is an object of? Like what are they calling these? Key values. The parameters. I guess I could just call them the URL params. Okay, so once we're in here with URL params, we can now grab whatever we want out. We also have to do this in didn't it say something about alphabetic order? I thought there was something about alphabetic order in here somewhere. Okay, so raw request, it will look like this. Collecting all these. So we need the base, it says here we need the base URL. Collecting parameters. In HTTP request, the parameters are URL encoded, but you should collect the raw values. In addition to the request parameters, every OAuth parameter needs to be included in the signature. So those two. Here are the parameters from authorizing a request. These values need to be encoded into a single string, which will be used later on. So %encode every key and value that will be signed. Sort the list of parameters alphabetically. Okay, sort the list of parameters alphabetically by encoded key. All right, so we have our URL params, and we want to sort them alphabetically. Now I'm only passing in one, like these, but I can sort them. Well, I have object.keys, right? So if I do log, let's first do UR params and sort of like see what we have there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll say object.keys URL params, and then I also want to log out the result of sorting this. So object, well, okay, sort doesn't actually return anything. It does it in place. So I want to first console log out what we have there, and then I want to say, okay, in fact, I might as well just do this. Const keys equals, sort of like just pull this out. Object.keys and hand it the URL params. Once I have that, I want to just log these keys out. Then I want to sort them. So keys.sort. Let's just run it by default, and we have to give it a custom function. We can later. And then we'll take a look at keys again and see what did it sort you by. Okay, so this first one is unsorted. We have include entities, OAuth consumer key. So looking at this, I would say that this is now sorted alphabetically. That's certainly what it looks like to me. So perfect. We don't have to do anything else crazy about this. We can remove our console logs. So, and we can grow our URL parameters object that we pass in dynamically. Now, what we want to do is for each key value pair, append the coded key to the output string, and if there is a space in any of them, we have to apply that encoding. So let's first start and see what happens. So we're going to want to do keys. Well, we just want to put it together, right? That sounds like a reduce. So we're going to return keys.reduce. We're going to take in sort of like the end result, and we're going to take in the next the next value of the key. So we're going to get the key. We're going to definitely need because we need the key and the value. So that's going to be interesting. So we're going to get the value, the index, and then the array itself. I don't see a way to easily do this in one line here, so let's do multiple. Also, just to make sure I don't screw this up, I'm gonna say we want to array this. I'm just gonna do an empty string, Okay, so I want to take whatever the result is and add in the next key equals value thing. So if I have an extra and, how do I make sure that I don't have that? I may have to like split that off of there. Or you know what? I do make this an array. So an empty array here, and at the very end, oh, this is getting complex. At the very end, I'm going to join it together with an ampersand. Okay, so given this, with our keys, we're going to take the first value, but we don't have the actual key, so we need to add the key to this first part. So, and whatever is a result, so we're going to return and backticks for ES6. We're going to return whatever result is, but then we're also going to say, oh no, I'm just going to do oh yeah, I'm just going to do the next thing. So result is going to be array. I need to push to the array and return it. So hold on, this first one is it's going to be an empty array, so I'm going to push the key to it first. I'm just going to push this full string, so we need to generate this first. So it's going to be result dot push. So we're going to add in. It's going to be a template, so a template string here, and we're going to say the first thing is going to be the key. So we don't have the key, but we have the array and we have the index. Nope, that will not give us the key though. Get out of my way. This gives us the value. This gives us the I. Oi, okay, so these are, this is objects.key. Oh, wait. These are keys. Never mind. The value is the key. Hold on, I should say key there. I was not thinking correct. And then UL params is the object. Hold on. I was getting confused about what this thing is. So because we have the keys are just the pure keys. I don't have the values in here at all. I have the result and the key. So now I can say UL params of key equals, and then the exact same thing. Sorry, it's just going to be key here. This is key. This is this thing. All right, so we're going to have the key is equal to the UL params of that key, so the actual value. Then that will give us, we need to return right after this. So return the result. This will sort of grow up. This will like grow this array bigger and bigger and bigger. Then we'll join it together by this ampersand. And then at the very end, this will come back to here. And now we'll have a signature string. So I don't need to call console log OAuth nonce anymore. Now I need my signature string. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so we have include entities equals true, and OAuth consumer key equals. All right, so this OAuth consumer key is not following what the OAuth consumer key really would be like. So let's make sure that we're doing this correct. In here, this would be something like that. And we can even go like that. So let's go back. Yeah, and we have OAuth token. OAuth token is undefined. We don't want that. Let's try this again. Okay, so true OAuth consumer key is this. OAuth not is this. OAuth signature method, OAuth timestamp, OAuth token, an OAuth version, and no final ampersand. Perfect, exactly what we wanted. And there were no spaces or anything else in there. So that gives us the base string. Oh, now what I notice is this. So they do want us to have the HTML thing in here. So hold on to this. Creating a signature base string, convert the HTTP method to uppercase. Oh, wait. So these are just the parameter strings. Then we need the signature base string. So what did they call this? Collecting parameters. So this is really parameter string. This is going to be signature base string. I'm just going to call this signature parameter string. Const, this is going to be signature base string. Okay, and so we're going to convert the HTTP method to uppercase. This is where we handed in the method. That's why it's like post there. Append the ampersand side of percent encode the URL and append it to the output string. So this is where we're going to have to take like these colons. Yeah, there is no colon here. So where do you... Is it an ASCII table? Like, for example, let's find space. Space. That's 30. That's not... Oh, they don't have the percent here. Hold on, let's take a look at it. Percent encode. Like, all I would just want to know is how do I predict which one is which? And since I already know that these are just URL, I can do that myself. I mean, I know I could go get a library for this, but I want to do it. It's fun. And technically it's procrastination from like the end goal. All right, that didn't give me what... Space is 20. Okay, so we got that here. We need colon which is %3a, and slash, which is %2f. And the rest of that is fine. So signature base string is encode, call this create signature base string, and we're going to hand this the base URL, the method, what else? Okay. Method, the URL, and then the parameter string. Okay, so then we're going to pass in the signature parameter string. Okay, so signature, create signature base string. And you're going to, there's only 3 things here, so I might just destructure this out because they're not really useful to us elsewhere. So we'll destructure them as we need them. So I will put that there. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to first take the method. So we'll take this method. We're going to set it to uppercase and set the output string. So we're going to have a let results. And also this is going to have the ampersand character between each of these, right? Yes. So we can do let result equals an empty array, and then we'll do the join together with the ampersand, just like the last one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to put in here is the method. So we're going to results dot push the method dot to uppercase. Were you not clear that that was a string? I think code got a little bit confused. Okay, so we're making sure it's to uppercase. And just to make sure that it's working properly, I can even make this lowercase. All right, so that's part number 1. Now append the @ character. That's going to be easy when we return this. So return it's going to be result.join by ampersand. Okay, so %encode the URL and append it to the output string. So what I want to do is loop through the URL and generate a new thing. So this might be easiest to just take a string in, return a string, right? So I will do another result.push, and this time we're taking in base URL, here, and we're going to say %encode and pass it base URL. All right, so now we need to write this. Function %encode is going to take in a string. Unencoded string. Now what I want to do is I want to loop through every character in a string and sort of change it insert something to the left of it, the best thing to do, like the most optimal way to do this would be to in place. Now strings are unchangeable, so I can't just like change the string. I wonder if it would be better to convert this to an array and then like insert one to the left of it. But if I do that, I run into the problem of like looping through the array. Things are a little bit weird at that point. I could just take in one string and generate another string. And that's the easiest way to do this, and this is small. I'm not going to take up too much memory, right? Okay, so I want to kind of replace. I wonder if I could do this with a match. Let's jump into REPL. Okay, so for REPL, I want to take a string, like for example, this URL. So const URL equals this. Then I want to %encode it, right? But I want to sort of play around with some matching and replacing. So I think what I can do is const new URL is equal to URL.replace. Is it a regular expression, or can I just say I want to replace this with, and heck, before we even do URL like that, let's just do hello. So I want to replace the L's with I don't know, M's. And then I want to console log the new URL. Okay, so I noticed that hemlo, it did do this once. Can I do this as oh wait, there's another way, isn't it? So L can I give it like a global? Like that? Nope. Let's go take a look at replace. So MDN replace. Okay, string the reg expression or substring, some string function. Okay, I want to do all of them. Yeah. Oh, hey. Hey, CJ. Welcome to my welcome to the stream. I know I was trying to avoid regex, but I think you're right. I think I have to do it global. Yeah. I was hoping that maybe they had something that did it for me, but I definitely gonna need global. So fine. Okay, so we'll just do L global. Then that does it for me. Yeah. Now, if I come back in and do this with the URL, and I don't really feel the need. Oh, they won't let me do my own, like so I know regular expressions are really fun, like a fun crazy thing. It's really easy to get lost in them. And in the shell, you can do sort of crazy regular expressions by actually replacing this first slashes with whatever character you want. Like for example, pipes. So will it let me sort of create this? I don't think so, because I think JavaScript actually requires it to be whatever you want. So I can't just say this in order to not have to escape it. Because I think that it's going to be really, really upset if I try this. Yep. Okay, fine. Okay, so a regular expression, we're going to say on the colon. So I want to replace this with %3a. Yep, that worked. And then what's the slash? %2f. Oh, and yeah, so CJ, what I'm making is a Twitter vacuum, which apparently has been confusing everybody. Could you possibly use encode URI component? Like, is that built into JavaScript? I'm running this in Node, so I don't know. Is that built into? I don't think that's built into JavaScript. That's built into the front end, right? MDN encode URI and component. Well, that's just showing it's a pure function that I could do. Okay, hold on. Let's try that. Node. Encode URI component, and I hand it let's do this one. Hand it you. Well, that takes all the fun out of it. Encode URI a component. All right, let's come back here and just do this. So %encode, I don't even need a function for this anymore because I'm just going to use this. Encode URI component, we hand it the base URL. Yeah, so thank you, CJ. That saved some work. All right, so that gives us this. Then I now need to remember what the heck I was doing before I went down this rabbit hole. Okay, so okay, %encode the URL, %encode the parameter string, and append it to the output string. So I also want to do the exact same thing. So result.push. And what did I call this? It was signature parameter string. Encode URI component and pass it the signature parameter string. And then we return that entire thing back. Which now gives us this entire monstrosity. So let's try this and print out the result. So now instead of signature string, we're going to console log the signature base string. And we have our get. It is doing that as to uppercase. I don't know why code didn't properly see that was available to us. And everything else is sort of thrown in here for us. All right. So coming back to here. Yep, that makes it look somewhat like that. Make sure to get percent encode the parameter string. Yes. All right. Getting a signing key. The last pieces of data to collect are secrets, which identify the application making the request and the user the request is on behalf of. It's very important to note that these values are incredibly sensitive, and I shouldn't put them on the stream for you all to look at, especially CJ. The value which identifies your application to Twitter is called the consumer secret and can be found by going there. Okay, so I already have, wait, didn't I already put that in there? Also, if that's my consumer secret, I am going to be so upset that they put that into the documentation just like that. Like they're looking at my app and then put it shouldn't be. That should just be an example. I actually don't have anything in here yet. These are just like me keyboard catting that. I haven't actually looked at my secret stuff yet. Yes, I know I could reset the key after the stream. I just remember there was that great story about when you, during the middle of a presentation one of your students were doing, they published their key to GitHub, I think, and you erased their database. As a great learning experience. It was great. Basement still talks about it. All right, so what was I doing here? Consumer secret. So I have the consumer secret here. I don't have the consumer secret here. Thought maybe that was a consumer key, but I passed it into the signature parameter string unless they want me to do that multiple times. Let me go into this other site that I have over here. Okay, there's this consumer key and then the consumer secret. So I think I just have the consumer key here, right? Yeah, okay, so hold on. Const consumer secret equals process.env dot stop jumping. Consumer secret that's a terrible. No semicolons. All right, close enough to the real one. Okay, so I get the consumer secret. The value which identifies the account, yes. The OAuth token secret. So I also need an OAuth token secret. That's fun. Will this file eventually be a Lambda function or something similar, or will you bring the code into an Express app? So I'm actually planning on having it sort of run on its own, and the idea is that it's going to be executed every once in a while. Go to Twitter, grab a bunch of tweets based upon a search or a filter, and then just shove those into a database. And my plan is I want to like start grabbing a bunch of these now, hence like the vacuum. And so I can do some statistical analysis on them later. OAuth token secret. It's going to be the exact same thing. Process.env.OAuth token secret. And the big thing is it sort of was like slightly upsetting. The last, the official Twitter libraries and modules to use with Node.js are over 2 years old. They haven't been updated since then, and I happen to know that that Twitter's like changing their APIs a lot recently. So I just feel like can't I just get it on my own? And normally they just say, oh, just like hand all your secrets to us, and we'll do the queries for you. But I'm trying to do this manually so that I can just control that, and it's a process. Okay, so consumer secret is value which is acting on behalf. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We get this. Once again, very important to not just share these with the entire world. Both these values need to be combined to form a signing key, which will be used to generate the signature. The signing key is simply the percent encoded consumer secret, followed by an ampersand character, followed by the percent encoded token secret. So what do we call this? Signing key. Oh my gosh, this is getting so messy. Const signing key. I may like end up wanting to like break these into 2 different files, or I might actually create this as like a module and put it up there for like how to generate this stuff, because it's really kind of stupid. So signing key is really our, what was it called? It was encode URI and component. So encode URI component, and I'm going to pass in signing key is simply the percent encoded consumer secret. So it's the consumer secret. So consumer, why don't you autocomplete for me? Okay, so we have a consumer secret followed by an ampersand character. So ampersand followed by the percent encoded token secret. So the token secret. Yeah, I just started using VS Code. Kind of annoying template little curlies. Don't autocomplete. Yeah, I know. It's like those are the types of things that make me like want to, or add a snippet. Really? Oh, I haven't even tried snippets in VS Code yet. Every once in a while I keep on thinking, maybe I should just go back to Vim and just like really customize it for like web development type stuff instead of shell scripting. Okay, so theoretically, that's our signing key. Note that there are some flows, such as when I'm setting a request code and when a token secret is not yet known, whatever. I think that I have all of this stuff because I created like token stuff in this app. Calc. All right, so this gives us the signing key. Let's make sure that this is what we think it is. So this is going to be signing key. And that looks exactly correct. Oh, wait, you know what? There is a problem here. So I noticed right here, the ampersand, it removed the ampersand and turned it into a %26. And I think this was saying that it needs, each of these are percent encoded, but the ampersand between them is not. So I want to do this opposite. So signing key is really going to be, let's read this really quickly. Signing key is really going to be the percent encoded. So the encode URI component with the consumer secret. So consumer secret, and I'm going to throw this into curly brackets here, like that, followed by an ampersand here. Now again, followed by an encode URI component. Well, autocomplete works here for that. And this one is going to be the OAuth token secret. Okay, this should be fine. Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay, now I think that I have literally over half of the work of this is just for this signing thing. And I've never seen an API that requires this much work to sort of like even just do basic requests. I mean, I know there's a bunch of them out there that just are standard HTTP requests, but there still are abstractions away just to make it easier to use, because like the methods might be different, weirdly named. But this, I don't know what their thought process behind was creating all these. Hi, Heck, welcome to the stream. Okay, we're at the final part of the creating the signature document. Oh, it's Cass. Hi, Cass. Let's see. Finally, the signature is calculated by passing the signature base string and the signing key to the HMAC SHA-1 hashing algorithm. The details of the algorithm are explained in depth here, but thankfully there are implementations of HMAC SHA-1 available for every popular language. For example, you can do this in PHP if you really wanted to. The output of the HMAC signing function is a binary string. This needs to be base64 encoded to produce the signature string. For example, the output given the base string and signing key given on this page is blah. That value when converted to base64 is the OAuth signature for this request. Okay, so let's go find HMAC SHA-1 implementation for Node.js. How do I use Node.js crypto, the stack? There's an npm package for it. Is there one? Okay, so is there a SHA-1 right here? That's one of one match. Uh-oh. HMAC. Okay, there's a class HMAC for creating digests. Okay, so const HMAC equals crypto dot create HMAC SHA-256, and then I pass the string in. And then on readable, const data HMAC read. If there's data, console log data.toString hex. Okay, I want. Oh, well, this one is just create this HMAC update some data to hash. Digest. Wait. What am I looking at here? Okay, so class HMAC as a stream. that is both readable and writable, where data is written to produce a computed HMAC digest, using the HMAC update and HMAC digest methods to produce the computed digest. You are not to use the new keyword with them. Okay, so we can create them as a stream, which I don't think I need to because I just have everything here right now. Or just use the digest methods. Now, is digest returns a buffer or a string? Oh, CJ with 5 bits. Cheers. Thank you, CJ. And you take number 1 place. Then there's update. Updates the HMAC contact with the given data. And then there's class sign. The sign class is a utility for generating signatures. Well, wait. So I don't need class. If I just... What's a secret? It doesn't say. Like, is this a key that I'm creating? And is this the data? Or is this the actual data? Because then this is the data to hash. I think secret is your OAuth secret. Well, would it be the OAuth secret? Because this is saying that I want to take the output of HMAC signing functions binary string. So I want to hash. What am I signing? And then you pass the thing to hash into digest. Find a signature calculate by passing the signature base string and sign-in key into the hash. So I'm going to use the sign-in key. Okay, so the base, I'm going to hash the base string with the sign-in key. I think that's what I'm doing. We'll find out. So we're going to bring in crypto. So okay, const crypto equals acquire crypto. Okay, so we're going to bring that in. We're going to create a hash. Oh wait, this doesn't even... This doesn't even take in like a secret. Do I need to use... Wait, what happened to my... Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. I lost my place. This is the one I want. Okay, never mind. So we bring in crypto. HMAC equals crypto.hmac. Okay, so here is this. So we're going to say const hmac equals crypto.create hmac. I'm going to pass it in SHA-256 and our secret. So that will be our... And it said specifically to make sure that we're using signing key. The signing key right there. Okay, so we create the HMAC with that. Then we update with the data. So then we're going to say HMAC dot update, and we're going to pass it in the data, which is our base signature base string, I believe. Okay. Then console log hmac.digest, and then whatever we want out of it. So we can now console log hmac.digest so Latin, hex, or base 64. What do you care about? The output is a binary string. This needs to be base 64 encoded. Okay, so base 64. So in reality, I should just put this right here, which is, this is going to be my OAuth sig. Right, I had put this way up here initially. OAuth signature is going to be equal. Yeah, I'm going to set it to base 64. Thank you, CJ. HMAC.digest base 64. And now I can console log the OAuth signature. Finally. All right, let's see if this works. I feel like I need your the soundboard that you have, CJ, so I can do drum rolls for things like this. And there we go, a base 64. All of that work for that 64 base number. Okay, so that's done with this document. We now move back to the first document. Soundboardnow.hh. Oh, this is your soundboard. Hold on. I don't know if I have... Desktop audio is on. I have no idea if this is going to be too loud or not. In fact, let me try this. Let's see if I do the... Where is it? Is that snare roll? Is that yours? Oh, yeah. But that came out of my audio speakers, which came through my microphone and through the desktop audio. That's fun. Hold on. Try this again. Snare roll. That's going out. We hit this, and ta-da! And then it works, I think. I couldn't actually tell if that was going out. I'll definitely have to like set something up so I actually hear what's going on without it being hit by the mic. All right, so okay, so authorizing. This is all part of just authorizing a request so I don't get a 401 error. Signature. We got through consumer key, nonce, and signature. Signature method is going to be the HMAC SHA-1. So there we got that. The timestamp, we've got that. The token and the versions. We've got all these things now. Building the header string. To build the header string, imagine writing a string named DST. Append the string OAuth, including a space at the end, to DST. So it's going to be like this. Okay. Append the string OAuth, including a space at the end, to DST. For each key value pair of the 7 parameters listed above, percent encode the key and append it to DST, append the equals character to DST, append a double quote, percent a quote, append a double quote. If there are any remaining, add it in. So we're creating a single string that pulls it all together, because why not? For all of these things. Okay. And what is this? This is the header string. This value should be set as the authorization header for the request. Okay. We're almost done. We're almost here. Const authorization header string. I'll just do header. Equals. Okay. Perform these steps and parameters collected above. It's going to be just OAuth. So I'm going to just call this create authorization header, so I can pull this into a function really quickly. And what do we need to pass in? It's going to be, well, we know it's going to be OAuth, so that can go inside of this authorization header for each of the key value pairs of these 7 things. So we want the OAuth consumer key, so OAuth consumer key, the OAuth nonce, the OAuth signature, the OAuth signature method, the timestamp, the token, and the version. Okay, so that gives me all of these things. So now we can go down to create authorization header. I generated the signature already. So function create authorization header. This takes in what are these? I guess I'll just call them OAuth parameters. For each of the 7 value keys, does it care about order? Because like the other one it cared. It does not, I'm not seeing anything in here that's saying that it cares about the order. Like that I need to sort it or not. So that will make it easier. I can now do a for in. So for let key in OAuth parameters. I love this for let in terminology here, this loop, because now I can, for example, console.log the key, and this will get me all the keys that are being passed in. Oh wait, this is that other console log. I don't want that anymore. Well, actually, I'm going to use it to verify this. So this is fine. Everything's fine. Nothing is going wrong. Okay, so we have the key, and we can get the value in this one by doing const value equals the OAuth parameters and then passing in the key. So now we have both of those. We can start the accumulator pattern with, let's do, what are we doing these? We have quotes around all of these. That's fine. If there are key values remaining, append a comma and a space. That is fine. So we'll do const result equals an empty array, and then we'll just, when we return it down here, the result, it'll be dot join it together, and then we want to make sure there's a comma and space between them. Perfect. So now we can just throw these things into here, whatever we want. So append the string OAuth with a space. So I can just begin by saying this is our first thing. It's OAuth with a space. Then for each of these 7 parameters, %encode the key and append it. So we're going to say %encode the key, have an equal sign. So %encode equal sign, make sure there's double quote, %encode the value, double quote. All right, we can do this. So we're going to result.push, and we're going to put in the %encode. So what is it? The URL encode URI component, and we're going to pass in the key, but also going to do this all right, just like this. So we have push the encode URI component. So that's our key. Then we need the equal sign, then putting these in double quotes, which is the next best thing about these string template literals. I can just use double quotes like that. And then we also want to encode. So encode this, which is now the value. Okay, so key value quote, then the okay, this should just work. And now in our console log up here, instead of OAuth signature, this is now going to be the, where did I put it? The authorization header. Oh, I foresee that problem. I don't want that one to be a an OAuth comma space. But all these other ones are perfectly fine. It's just this first one. Is it just that first one? Oh, I just want OAuth space. But the comma space is fine after that. Okay, so I don't want to load this in ahead of time here. I'm thinking what I want to do is just like keep this like this. It's going to be there, and then when I result.join, I'm going to return a string template literal. There, where we're going to say OAuth space result, like that. No, actually the opposite. This is going to be OAuth result like that with the $. Oh, I already have that one. Okay, Then we result.join all those together. So save this. Let's try this one. OAuth consumer key equals everything is good. We're good. This value should be set as the authorization header for the request. Okay. All right. Everything is fine. Nothing is going wrong. Next, let's pull in Axios. npm install Axios. I want to go have lunch, but I also want to at least get one try of this out. So if I pull in Axios, const Axios equals acquire, then right here, we're gonna do it. We're gonna say Axios dot, I think it's a get. We need to now find, here it is, our post status filter. So this is our URL. And I think we actually had that here in the base URL. So it's a get both get and post are supported, but GET requests with too many parameters may cause the request to be rejected due to excessive URL length. Use a post request to avoid long URLs. Okay, whatever. I'm going to try get first. So axios.get, it was the base URL. The track, follow, and location. So I am not going to put any tracking for right now. Although apparently I can use 400 keywords to track by, and we will. So eventually, I just want to see, like, can I get any tweets back? And then requires authentication. So we're gonna say, oh wait, no, this takes an oh no, I think it's like Axios method is the method. I think I'm gonna pass it in an object. So we're going to pass in the method. We're going to have headers. And this is going to be an object in which we have now this authorization header for the request. I think it's just authorization like that. So authorization header. Okay. Parameters. Follow is optional, track is optional, locations is optional, delimited is optional, stall warnings is optional. Okay, this is the example request. I'm not putting any of these things in there, so I don't think they would affect the I don't think they would affect anything. Oh, and I remember that returns public. I thought that I saw in these real time. All right, let's just try dot. Then we're gonna get our data, and we'll just console.log this data to find out what the heck we have, and then we'll have our catch, which is we'll get our error, and we'll first console.log boo, we got an error, followed by the error message. And I think I want to throw new I think I can just throw the air, assuming that it actually is an air object. I hope that it is. They wouldn't do that to me, right? All right. Oh wait, this won't work. I don't have any of my actual key things in here. So time to drop down the env from there. I'm gonna open up another terminal window on the safe side of my stream. I'm gonna projects, mine Twitter vacuum. That's vim, this.env. Also, just in case I forget to, oh, it's not even in here right now. Do I have? Yep, I already got that in there. So yay, we're good. All right, so I need to find my appropriate oh, there it is. Found it. Find my appropriate keys and start placing them in. So our OAuth consumer key. Okay, our access token, wherever that, there it is. The consumer secret. And then the OAuth token secret. I hope it's this thing. It doesn't say OAuth token secret. It says access token secret. All right, save, hide that. Let's bring back chat to the front, so in case any of you want to see this. And let's make sure I don't have any. What console.logs do I have? I have these two. That's it. So none of those keys can display out. We're just going to display this data. We're going to see what it looks like. Everything's going to work the first time because that always happens every single time without exception, right? Node, app.js. Boo, we got an error. The URL argument must be of type string. Don't forget the URL for the access. I thought I did it. The URL argument must be type string. Did I just completely forget that? Oh yeah, that is okay. Hold on, I have to do your sad trombone sound. That's a pretty sad. Where is? Oh, it's right here. Sad trombone. Yeah, that's that was that's a pretty big mistake to make. Okay, so URL is the base URL. Save that. Let's do it again. So node app.js. All right. Failed with status code of 401. I think it's actually putting all my stuff in there too. So yay. I'll get to I get to reset all those now. Oh, interesting. It's telling me that there was a unhandled promise rejection warning. But I did. I have a catch. Okay. So the problem, like, a problem is I have no idea. You don't need to throw the error in a catch. Oh, is that my problem? I was thinking like, I'm overthinking this thing. They've already thrown the error. Okay, so we have an unfortunate error. Do we have like error.message? Request failed with status code 401. Like that's all it's giving us. So after all of that, we didn't get to go into it because whatever we were attempting to do. Now there's these search tweets, and I wonder if is it just like I'm not allowed to do that? Like my app's not allowed to do that? Standard search API. This is the CREST URL. So if I take this, put it into here, requires authentication, requests, whatever. I'm only going to do one request. Okay. Parameters. Queue is required. Now, maybe the authorization editor needs to be in the exact order they list, like the order of the params. Yeah, it's possible. Definitely very, very possible that they need that. I think that I am going to take a break because I'm a little bit sad about that didn't just work. I think there are some things for me to try out with that. I don't know if I'm going to do this on stream as I try those, or if I'm just going to like just toy around with it this weekend. But if I do get it working, I will definitely I'm creating a video of this entire process, and once I get that done, I'll cut it up into sections and put it on YouTube. But with that, thank you all for stopping by and taking a look. This was, see if I have my Twitch dashboard. 5 viewers today, including my own preview window, which is not too bad for a unscheduled sort of trial stream. So thank you guys for stopping by. If you want to see more of these streams, please follow the channel to let me know. And next week, early in the morning, I'll be streaming here as I continue to learn the Rust language. And then I also have linked to my YouTube channel below, which is where all of these videos are getting archived. Thank you, CJ, for both the bits today, the cheers, and stopping by and saying hi. CJ has an awesome channel on YouTube called Coding Garden, which actually up 4 more cheers from CJ. Awesome. If I go take a look at Coding Garden, has his stream schedule, which is all on YouTube. Anyways, with that, I'm going to go find some lunch and maybe continue looking on this later, or just, eventually give up and use a library. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your weekend. And click.